awesome research, amygdala volume correlates, and so, women are not, brains are not all that different than male brains, so, I might have to email these guys to try to get their PDF. Oh, God. Oh, I do have their PDF so that I can make my point. Oh, God. Let's see what the research is showing. Amygdala volume correlates positively with fearfulness in normal, healthy girls. Relationships to the underpinnings of fear and fear-related pathology has highlighted the role of the amygdala. For instance, bilateral damage to the amygdala complex is associated with decreased appreciation of danger and recognition of fear in humans, whereas enlarged amygdala volume is associated with internalizing syndromes. It's unknown whether amygdala volume and fearfulness are related in the absence of pathology. We examined the correlation between normal fearfulness and the amygdala morphology in 116 healthy children and adolescents, 60 boys, 56 girls, ages 7 to 17. Fearfulness was measured using correlations between the right amygdala volume and girls, R0 to 9. The relationship was more robust and present bilaterally when analysis were limited to girls with a positive nuclear family history of depression. For left, R equals 63. For right, R equals 5.8. In boys, there were no significant relationships, but may suggest that the biological mechanisms differ between sexes. Given the role of the enlarged amygdala in pathology, these findings indicate that the variation in amygdala morphology makes susceptibility to internalizing disorders. Okay, this is actually not pathological fear. I would say that though that this is it does kind of create a pathological fear. What Guerrilla Warfare X is feeling towards me is not a normal and functional fear. It's a pathological fear. It's a pathological fear that has led to cyber stalking, basically. So there's a pathology behind it. He is so terrified of me that he follows me around and he won't just leave me alone. So this is not normal fear. This is pathological anxiety that we're talking about. He feels that he needs to gather all this data on me to control the threat that he perceives me as being, because he's a control freak in that capacity. And it's all a result of the large, extremely large right amygdala in all likelihood, or some other, larger amygdala, the biology of fear, So this is the biology of fear as research documents are showing, the biology of fear. Each and every one of us has felt afraid, and we can all recognize fear in many animal species. At no consensus in the scientific study of fear. Some argue that fear is a psychological construct rather than discoverable through scientific investigations. Others argue that the fear cannot be properly applied to animals because we cannot know whether they feel afraid. Studies in rodents show that there are highly specific brain circuits for fear, whereas findings from the neuroimaging make the opposite claim. Here I review the field and urge approaches to reconcile the debates. For one, we need a broadly comparative narrative approach that would identify core components of fear across phylogeny. This pushes us towards the second point of emphasis, an ecological theory of fear that is essentially functional fear. Finally, we should point to incorporate conscious experiments of being afraid of a meta-analysis of activation of the amygdala. The y-axis cross studies significant activation of the amygdala broken. So these are there's a lot of research that's basically backing up this idea that the amygdala, religions and emotion. Here we review an animal and human literature concerning the role of the amygdala in fear conditioning, considering it as a potential influence over automatic and hormonal changes. So the term amygdala, Latin for almond, was first used in 819, but an animal product described the almond-shaped cell and mass located in the human temporal cortex is now used to describe a similar area in many species. As originally described, the amygdala is described as several distinct groups of cells, usually termed lateral, basilar, accessory, basionuclear, nuclei, and collectively termed the basolateral amygdala. Several structures surrounding the basolateral amygdala, including the central metadal and cortical nuclei, are traditionally included in the amygdaloid complex. These surrounding structures with the vascular amygdala have to be called the amygdala, so the extended one, and it's getting in. This is like the biology of fear, basically. And this is all happening. All this fear. He will, as he has said multiple times, say that since he can respond to me with overwhelming force, that he is not afraid. Which is a distortion, basically. He says that he can handle me, which is true if I went after him, which is one of the reasons why I wouldn't actually do it. I just fucking dream about doing it. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe people like this are so stupid. Paul is a clown who misrepresents my motives and beliefs. So, if this is not fear, then what reasonably is? Paul is a clown who misrepresents my motives and beliefs for his own agenda. Way to use the white nationalist card as a cop-out. I've recorded all the violent shit he's said for the past 2 years, and he has no room to talk. This has nothing to do with his political beliefs, and more to do with his psychotic, threatening rhetoric of wanting conservatives round up, shot, massacred, on top of this serious lunatic, Richard Ramirez-like vibes when he gives out, saying that he wants people to die, and then screaming, "Hail Satan." I screamed "Hail Satan" just the other day, which is, what she's trying to say, like you did in a recent video, but I didn't. This is a false accusation that you've just made. I said "Hail Satan" as far as supporting economic, ameliorating people's wealth. You came after me, and I just said that I'm fully in support of the government ameliorating people's wealth. Hail Satan! I know that it's unpopular, and in this country, people consider socialism and wealth redistribution to be unholy and evil. And I just decided to say "Hail Satan" because I was like, yeah, I'm evil, I'm guilty and proud. I'm not ashamed at all of supporting economic redistribution of rich people's shit. Soak the rich, eat them. I'm not ashamed of it. That's what I believe, and if they don't like it, well, they can take it or leave it. I don't give a shit about their feelings. Psychopath, like he did in the recent video, being a prime example of this behavior. No, that's not what actually happened in that video. I just responded to you and said that I believe in economic redistribution, and I said "Hail Satan" about it. That's really all it was. I said that the word that is used in this context is not theft, it's expropriation. Hail Satan. He repeatedly apologizes and makes excuses for his behavior as damage control over and over, and then does it again over the slightest thing. The slightest thing, I've asked you repeatedly to leave me alone, and you've basically commented on my videos, thumb my videos down. Every time I hide you from my channel, you create a new account to come after me. I can't consistently get rid of you. I can't get you to stop commenting. I can't get you to stop, coming in and leaving these little responses to me. I can't get you to leave me alone. I've asked you repeatedly to stop coming in, stop leaving your comments, stop fucking stalking me, stop recording my videos, stop paying any attention to me at all, and ignore me the way that a normal, healthy individual would. This is the same way mentally healthy people with non-homicidal tendencies. This isn't the way that mentally healthy people with non-homicidal tendencies behave. Well, another thing that you should probably understand is that all 91% of men have thoughts of killing other people at some point. Does this mean that these people have homicidal tendencies? Because they tend to externalize the blame onto society to the point where they want somebody else to suffer and pay for what they've put them through. I say these things as a warning in response to him saying if the economy collapses, he'd sneak onto farmers' land and steal their food. Really, I can't steal food, you dude. And besides which, farmers guarding their food carefully. What I can, though, is pretty much anything that can be digitized, and there's really nothing that you or the government or any power can do to stop me there. I'm letting people into this area to know, and even if people in my area are aware of that I'm a fucking huge pirate, they can't stop me from doing it, dude. Even knowing full well that I'm self-confessed and guilty as shit, no, you can't do anything about that. I'm letting people in this area know his address for the same reason that you'd let people in an area know where a sex offender lives, not because I want anything to happen to them, but because they're dangerous and a ticking time bomb, no matter how much he says otherwise. And he can keep lying and gaslighting, though, That's what you leftists do best, and you seem to pick up the behavior from leftist media, which is why their trust is at an all-time low, and other multiple outlets are paying hundreds of millions of dollars for defamation to multiple individuals. I don't even know how to respond to this, she says. Well, I can lift quite a bit about this. This is somebody who is so terrified of me that they have literally invested 2 years of their time into gathering data, doxing me, and then going out and trying to contact all of my neighbors and telling them that I'm a huge threat. I would say that this individual is probably the one that is a little unsettled, and it's that stupid enlarged amygdala. I don't even own a gun. How stupid can you possibly be? Like, I have some violent thoughts. I've engaged in a little bit of violent rhetoric. Like, who the fuck hasn't, you dumb fucking dolt? Jeez. Like, seriously. And I've managed to waste, 2 years of this person's time because of that? I mean, God, this is fucking pathetic.